Good morning, esteemed environmental leaders of DuPage County and to our audience members throughout the United States and the world. My name is Andrew Van Gorp, and I am the founder of Sustain DuPage. Our nonprofit, Sustain DuPage, helps you achieve your sustainability goals. Many people ask us the reason our logo is the shape of the border of DuPage County, and I love being asked that question. The answer is simple. We live in a world that can be incredibly overwhelming. The crises that face us today, climate change, ecosystem collapse, ocean acidification, the overrun of United States democracy by corporate interests, these are all issues that can seem bigger than any one of us. They are issues beyond our primary control. But by drawing a boundary around our focus, we can begin to see that we have the power to change what we do control, our communities. Sustain DuPage is unique in that we engage with both top-down and bottom-up sustainability initiatives, which means that we empower citizens of DuPage County with sustainable living skills such as basket weaving, growing food, community organizing, and other skills through classes, lectures, and teach-ins. But we do more than grassroots organizing around sustainability. We also provide rich data and support for municipal governments, and that's taking place right now. We've invited all DuPage County environmental commissions and committees here today to present on their successes, their challenges, and their vision forward for the next 5 years. Sustain DuPage's goal is to facilitate the creation of a coalition of these environmental commissions and committees to meet at least twice a year to take on the challenges that lie ahead together as a regional community. Now, for a few thank yous before we get started. Today we are live from the Rev3 Innovation Center in Naperville, Illinois, and we want to thank Rev3 for bumping us to this larger room so we could host more environmental commissioners. We also want to give a big thank you to the local farmers and business owners who donated food for our presenters today, specifically Sandhill Family Farms of Lake County for the eggs and popcorn, which we'll have at the reception, Jelly Kicks of Warrenville for the organic jellies and jams, Tugboat Coffee of Addison for the direct trade coffee, and Pleasant House Bakery of Chicago for the baked goods. We also want to thank you, the people who have donated to our nonprofit these past few years. You have made it possible for us to purchase reusable ceramic mugs so that we can be walking the walk at today's event and future events by being zero waste while we're drinking our shade-grown coffee. It feels good to know that our coffee didn't come at the cost of a few acres of rainforest, and that we will not be leaving number 6 plastics in a landfill as the longest lasting commemoration of today's first annual DuPage County Environmental Commission and Committee Symposium. A few people have asked, why a broadcast? Well, we at Sustain DuPage know just how busy DuPagers are. So this broadcast is intended to reduce barriers and increase accessibility to environmental issues for everyday people not yet actively involved in the movement. Because these issues affect each and every one of us, we would like to thank the folks who are hosting viewing parties so that people can watch today's symposium if they don't have access to a computer or wireless internet at home. Specifically, we'd like to thank Jan Rail at the Conservation Foundation, Natasha Gonzalez at the College of DuPage, and Parker Matzinger of Northland College in Wisconsin. We'd also like to thank each and every one of you who are tuning in live to become informed on environmental issues in DuPage County. I hope you're all inspired to hear the amazing things happening in our county, and perhaps you will consider becoming involved in your local environmental commission or committee. And if your community doesn't have an environmental commission, we look forward to working with you to create one. And we're going to do a little bit of a turnaround here, so people at home can see everyone. Say hello, commissioners. All right. Alrighty. We also want to encourage the people in this room to have your phones out and live post about the symposium if you can. And you folks who are tuning in live, we're also depending on you to get the word out about today's event. Our handle is written on both sides, at Sustain DuPage. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Meetup. And the hashtag we're using for today's symposium is hashtag DCECC Symposium. We thank you for that. We're also recording today's symposium. If anyone has trouble accessing the live feed, you will be able to watch a video of today's event in the future, thanks to Erica Harris and Rob Logan. It's hard to believe that we've been planning this event since November of 2015. You may be curious about the municipalities participating today, as some of them have borders that overlap with other counties. We decided to count a municipality even if it only has a tiny bit of land in DuPage. We're claiming you. 12 environmental commissions are here today to present: Batavia, Downers Grove, Glen Ellen, Hanover Park, Lemont, Lombard, Schaumburg, Villa Park, Warrenville, West Chicago, Westmont, and Wheaton. We are so glad to have you here today. Presenter Sustain DuPage board member John Morrow will give you a 1-minute sign like this. Where is he sitting? He's over there. When you have 1 minute, and then we're going to be real down to the minute today. We're running our symposium in the style of the Consortium of North Shore Environmental Groups of Northern Chicago. When I attended their meeting, Beth Drucker said, "This meeting is supposed to be like tapas. You just get a little taste. You're not supposed to get the whole entree." So I really liked that. After all 12 representatives have presented, I will be presenting on the results of the commission member survey we asked all environmental commissioners of DuPage County to fill out. And let me tell you, you're going to want to stay tuned to learn about the amazing data we found. I don't want to give too much away, but one thing that I found the most exciting is that we were able to quantify an estimate of the financial value to DuPage County our environmental commissioners donate of their time every year. One last thing is, we do ask that everyone hold their questions until the end of the symposium at the reception. And without any further ado, we will begin with Batavia. And just a little note on how we're going to present today. We have a little tape X right here, and you want to be able to kind of see yourself in the screen on the phone, kind of beyond the tape X. You don't have to mess with the mic unless you feel like you need help. And we've got a clicker that switches us to the next symposium slide. And here's our social media information as well. Thank you so much.
And what do I click here?
It's
This
just
one?
that one little right button right
Okay.
there. Perfect, thank
So
you.
I clock in about 6 minutes, so I'll see what I can do.
Perfect.
It's okay? Okay. So my name is Carolyn Burnham, and I am a member of the Batavia Environmental Commission. I just wanted to start off a little background of the BEC. The BEC was formed in 2006, and it is comprised of 5 members from the community and 2 city liaisons. So what's our mission? The mission of the Batavia Environmental Commission is to fulfill the role of environmental advisor, educator, and motivator to city government and the city at large. So what are our successes? Many of our successes are the events that we do. Green Night Out at the Movies, Green Drinks, Batavia Earth Hour, and Green Fair on the Fox. We also are growing our social media presence on Facebook, the Community Garden, and our Green Business Certification. Let's talk a little bit about Green Night Out at the Movies. This started in 2009 and takes place in City Hall. The event includes a short environmental expo, a screening of a green-themed movie, and then after the movie, a discussion led by a local expert. The movie screening is paid for by sponsorships or grants, and attendance generally has ranged from 50 to 150 people. These are some of our movie titles. The last one we did was called Bikes versus Cars. Our speaker for that movie was the Batavia Bicycle Commission. Green Fair on the Fox. This was originally the Batavia Green Walk, and it was a partnership with the Batavia Art Walk, and it happened on Friday. In 2013, we moved it to Saturday. 2014, we changed the name to Green Fair on the Fox to kind of broaden its appeal. We have over 70 vendors that are on the Batavia Riverwalk and inside City Hall. We have entertainment, food, the vendors, an alternative transportation show, and a bicycle show. And we get attendees from across the Fox Valley and surrounding communities. And here are just some of the pictures from the event. Just to show the location, it's between Depot Pond and the Fox River, the alternative transportation show, pictures from the bicycle show, and from inside City Hall. The Batavia Community Garden is a cooperative effort of the Environmental Commission, Batavia Enterprises, who own the land, Main Street, and the City of Batavia. And the mission is to demonstrate ecologically sound gardening practices, with the end result is to donate the food to the Batavia Interfaith Food Pantry. The Green Business Certification. This was based on a Clean Air Accounts program. It is a self-certification program that the BEC members coordinate. The last certification we had was a platinum by VWR International in May of last year. What are our challenges? Well, unfortunately, some of our successes are also our challenges. Our green business certification needs to be updated, but Clean Air Counts, as far as I know, is no longer funded and does not exist. Our certification program was very time-consuming for BEC members. We didn't get enough people because it wasn't promoted properly, and we really need to charge for it to create value and to raise money for the BEC since we are not funded by the city. So additional challenges, this is both for the BEC and for the community. We did end up discontinuing the community garden last year. We discovered that we may lose the property. The property we had was being taken over by critters, which was a real problem, and the coordinator that was on the BEC moved out of state last year. We had a no idling campaign that was originally approved by the city and the schools, and we got some backlash from a couple different schools, and it never came to fruition. A lack of convenient electronic recycling for the community. I think everybody can say that. So that's a big issue statewide. A big issue for us personally is a shortage of volunteers. Right now we only have 3 commissioners and 1 active city liaison. So it's really difficult to get stuff done when we don't have enough people to do it. Also a difficulty is that we aren't funded by the city, so all of our funding needs to come through grants and sponsorships. And as any volunteer organization, we're limited by the free time of the people that we have involved. We're suffering a little bit. We need to have a better line of communication between the city and the BEC members as well. And a big issue for the city of Batavia is our contract with the Prairie State Coal Plant for electricity. So 5 years from now, I think based on what you just heard, you know some of them. We'd like to see all our member positions filled so we have more active liaisons, 5 to 10 additional volunteers. We would like to be considered an integral part of the city's activities whose input is sought and valued, and we need to start doing yearly planning meetings so we can help establish the goals and how we're going to get there. Some more specific goals, we want to help in the planning and the community outreach regarding the removing of the dam in downtown Batavia, a community composting program potentially starting in the schools, a return of a community garden, perhaps phasing in a different format of the Green Business Certification Program. And we hope the city can extricate itself from the Prairie State coal plant contract and start looking at alternative energy. So you can find more about the BEC by going to our website and our Facebook page. That's it. Thank you.
Next up we have Downers Grove.
Similar things, right? Okay. The right side clicks forward? Right side. Okay. Stacy Salmon, I'm from Downers Grove. I sit on the Environmental Concerns Commission. I'm here with Jamie Getz, who's also on our commission. We have 6 commissioners right now. I think we're supposed to have 7. And we have a staff member who sits in with us. The successes that I'm going to talk about really are more of the village's successes than necessarily our commission's successes, but they're important, and we appreciate the work that our village is actually doing. So our fleet services, we actually are award-winning. We are the 2014 recipients of the Government Green Fleet Award. We're the 2nd greenest fleet in the nation. Primarily, that's accomplished through, we have 84% of the fleet is using cleaner burning alternative fuels. It's a combination of biodiesel, ethanol, some hybrids, compressed natural gas. We actually have a natural gas filling station that we can use, and we other communities come and use and fill up at our site. I know there's somewhere in here that we actually have reduced overall fuel consumption 21% since 2007 when we started to focus on these efforts. So they're achieving success through their efforts. Energy conservation, focusing on cost saving and emission reduction. I think this is probably where we could improve some of our efforts. But they've replaced lighting in municipal buildings and saving 100,000 kilowatt hours a year. transitioning holiday lights to LED. Our fleet services building uses a combination of recycled waste oil to heat their facility and also solar power. We have a hybrid streetlight system that runs completely on solar and wind in Downers Grove, which was like a pilot program, and it was really exciting when it went in. But it's not widespread. It was exciting. Recycling, this is something that we have a lot of success with too. We have a recycling extravaganza that can get up to 2,000 participants with residents primarily dropping off e-waste, batteries, carpet, bicycles, scrap metal, everything. We really have a lot of success with that. We've partnered with Scarce to recycle our holiday lights. That's also been a very successful program. Our stormwater utility, we actually have a stormwater utility. And the goals there are to improve stormwater management, pollution reduction, water conservation. The village has installed permeable pavers on a street to see how that would work out, and actually they've been able to reduce runoff, pollution reduction, they sediment, nitrogen, phosphorus. So they're really pleased with how that program's went. I think that is our high school. We actually have permeable pavers in the parking lot at our high school as well. So there's been a lot of education in how we can reduce stormwater runoff, as we are a community that floods significantly. Our public works, actually, they've been the recipient of multiple awards for their efforts in stormwater management. So that's an ongoing effort. And then up in those corners, those are larger infrastructure projects that we've done, which captures runoff and then reduces pollution through natural methods before it re-enters the St. Joseph's Creek. So that's something that our public works on as well. We are a conservation in our community with the Conservation Foundation. So we partner with Rain Barrel program and education and outreach to our residents on rain gardens and bioswales and permeable pavers, and we do a garden walk and a river cleanup. So we're really excited and looking for ways to kind of keep going with resident outreach and getting them better informed on what they can do. And then we have a green business program, which is the businesses come to the ECC meetings and then we talk to them. We only have 6 businesses in our community that have been given this award. And I think this actually leads well into our challenges, which is we're currently trying to revamp our program so that it's inclusive and inviting, but meaningful. And the businesses that have applied are really varied. So we want to make sure that a movie theater and a hospital don't necessarily have the same kind of requirements, but that they're actually meaningful programs. So that's been a challenge for us as we try to define what success looks like for that program. And then I think, right now we really have almost kind of stalled on all other efforts to kind of just look at our program and figure out what's the value to the community. We feel like there's a real need to improve communication between staff and council and our commission. So I do think that our village and our staff absolutely values the commission and what our intention is, but we want it to be more meaningful and valuable to the community and to the commissioners that are sitting there. They want to feel like that they're improving their community that they live in. So just a more transactional relationship with the council. Our 5-year plan, I think it's to, we want to improve our green business program so that the continuity exists between the commissions as they change and new commissioners come in. We want to provide a real value to the village of Downers Grove, and continually working towards improvements with our sustainability efforts and kind of pushing the village to keep doing more. And I think that, and this is a great step, is just more collaboration between communities and hearing what they're doing and successes and learning from each other and sharing knowledge and where can we help each other, and also I'd like to see some leadership from the county because they're doing some great things too, and how can we partner with them and how can they lead us so that we don't spend time reinventing the wheel, and that we're all learning from each other. So that's kind of it.
And next we have Glen Ellen, my hometown, not saying, just saying.
Hi, can everybody hear me? My name's Adam Cruiser, and I am the chairman of the Glen Ellen Environmental Commission. I have not yet seen this slideshow. All right, good. Well, it looks like it's going to be a lovely one. Andrew's with the Environmental Commission, and he actually put together this slideshow for me and a little bit of my script. I should say all of my script. He is a wonderful volunteer. We're so lucky to have him. As you can see, he's a great advocate for so many things and has so much energy, 125%. I just wanted to thank a couple people, one of them being Kay McKean, who reminded me, not directly but indirectly, how much of a pioneer she is. I don't think any of us would be here without her. Our Environmental Commission is actually quite active in the community. We have 9 members, all of whom are very active. We have 4 subcommittees within our Environmental Commission. I won't name them all, but each one of them has its own chairman, and each one of them has its own group of people. So we try to keep things focused in subcommittee, which will then allow us to bubble those ideas up into the commission generally, where we all vote on them. We have a village trustee, an actual trustee, who is at every meeting. We meet every month. That is one of my rules. We have a village administrator who is with us, who is tremendously active. We actually have a park district liaison, too. We've invited the Glen Ellen Park District to be part of our commission, and Renee Frigo is tremendously active. I want to say, we got to get on board with this Cool DuPage initiative, if we haven't already. And it's one of the things that we're going to be doing with the Glen Ellen Environmental Commission, because it is an exciting opportunity for all of us. I actually have my own card as chairman of the Environmental Commission that's given to me by the village. The village is very active and supportive of our efforts. And what we try to promote is that a village can be economically sustainable. A village can save money. A village can promote a better environment through its green environmental initiatives. So we try to present everything to our village with the idea that ultimately we're helping the village and our residents. So that's successes. One of our successes, and really these are just little things, is the bicycle station that we have. It's a bicycle repair station. We're trying to promote our prairie path. It's a great opportunity for people to bike, and if you can promote biking instead of taking cars, just in little ways, then you're promoting a better environment. We've had initiatives in town. We've had green space. We've had Bike It. Again, we're trying to promote environmental initiatives similar to what Batavia is doing with their entertainment ideas to basically get the community involved. When you have communities involved, then our jobs are a little bit easier. This is some of the little Bike It art that we had in our town. Beautiful stuff. And the people in the town look at it. People out of town come and see it. We had the Chicago Tribune got involved. They wrote about it. It's a way to, again, improve environmental awareness. Manor Woods, really, this is about Andrew with this project in Public Works. People trying to get together to improve our environment by ultimately getting rid of the buckthorn and some other things, and just making it a better environment for our people, our residents, to enjoy. We now have a new commission page that's part of the village website. It's a very exciting page. We have our initiatives on it. We have active videos where people hopefully can come and see what we're doing and enjoy seeing the informative opportunities they have on our page. And it's under development, and it'll be even better. We just got the EPA Green Power Partner Award, which we're very proud of. We got that because over the past 4 to 5 years, we've committed to staying with a 100% green municipal aggregation. I think we're currently one of the few communities in the entire state that do that. So we're buying all of our power through green energy credits. And the EPA awarded us for it. Rain barrels, active transportation plan. We're trying to improve bicycle transportation. We influenced the village into purchasing solar compactors so that at this point in time, garbage trucks are off the road, blah, blah, blah. We're very interested in recycling, residential. We've actually, I think this is where curbside composting pilot program is now going to be part of our efforts in the village. I believe the board's voting on it this week. Challenges, there's always challenges. We tried to put together a single-use bag ban. Not everybody likes that idea. But we're going to keep working on it. Volcano mulching. 5 years from now, community-wide bicycle plans, trying to improve the village in its entirety, coal sealants, phosphorus, poisoning of our environment. One thing I do want to emphasize, ComEd initiatives. I'm being told I'm too long. We just developed a 2-year strategic plan, which we have put together through a series of meetings. It's a formal plan that we're submitting to the board. Our village administration is part of that. So we're submitting it to the board so that we're actually a participant with the village. We want to have an environmental commissioner part of the planning commission. We want to have an environmental commissioner that's part of the capital improvements commission, so that we're actually in front of some of these projects so that we can suggest to these people about how they can make these projects, these developments more green, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that strategic plan requests as much as $30,000 in funding from the village of Glen Ellen for our environmental initiatives. So we're optimistic that we're going to be able to make that happen. Okay, thank you very much.
Some similar things that I've heard already, but I wanted to mention about, I'm the committee chair, and we started in 2007. We have nine members that are appointed by the chair and by our mayor, and we're very much supported by Public Works. We have a village trustee there always at the meetings, and the mayor really supports what we're doing. In fact, he was the one that actually got us started up. And we meet every fourth Tuesday of each month. Successes, we have a recycling event. Put on that. And we've been doing it for 8 years. And I can tell you that Kay was instrumental in helping me start the first one, and it's improved every year. We keep adding things, and we did receive, if you're familiar with the Governor's Hometown Award, we did receive that in 2010 for one of the first events we had. We've gotten so big in this that we actually moved it over to our Metro lot now, so we do it there. This is one thing that a lot of people don't know about. We actually started in 2011 the first public apiary in the United States. So, and we actually have, last year we had 21 beehives, and we received a hometown award for that also. So a lot of people don't realize that bees are very being stressed right now because of pesticides, et cetera. And when you people are putting pesticides, they're killing bees, they're killing a lot of other things, butterflies, other things. And now with this Zika virus thing, it's an issue. So we want to be up on that. We have a medication take-back container. We just received that last year, and it was, again, Kay and others helped with that. So we started that. We have been doing medication take-back at our recycling events through Cook County Department of Environmental, because we're actually, it's good and bad. We're part of DuPage and Cook, so we can get help from both. Rain gardens. We actually have 2 rain gardens now. What's unique about our commission is that we have people that are champions in certain areas, and we have one person that really is into rain gardens. And we have actually 2 different ones right now. One that's on MWRD property that we're using, and one at our village hall, and we're actually adding one this year at one of the local public schools. So we're going to be working with the principal and all the kids on how to put a rain garden together. Challenges. I think the big challenge we've had is on the recycle electronics. We talked about that already. We're going to have to start charging for some TV monitors and monitors now at our recycling event. We don't want to do that, but it's being very difficult. Most of the I'm very fortunate because most of the people that the vendors that come to our recycle event, they donate their time. This is the only one we really have to pay for, so it's difficult. And then needs for outlets for household hazardous waste. This is one that IEPA used to do, and because of our state's great finances now, we don't see that happening, and I think that's a big issue. 5 years from now, I actually have a 2-year plan here, and I wanted to mention a couple of things. Light pollution ordinances. A lot of people are looking at that. I know I was talking to Glen Ellen about that. They're looking at that. Big issue. One thing I've noticed, and even in our village, just changing the LED lamps in our overhead lamps in the village. It's made a big difference. You actually can see the stars at night. You can never see them. Pumpkin recycling, turkey oil recycling, noise ordinance. We're going to be having some big issues with O'Hare. They're changing their flight patterns, and this is going to be an issue. And then the Cool DuPage initiative, which we already mentioned. We're on board with that. So I'm going to be working with our public works director on that. I fortunately am an environmental engineer myself, so I have some expertise in that area. 5 years from now, I think Schaumburg is here, and I haven't really talked to them, but I could see us. I would like to join us. Yeah, and I would love to see us do a household hazardous waste event down the road. Exactly. So maybe a 5-year goal. We'll see what happens with that. And then some people have talked about community gardens. I think that's another area that we're interested in. That's it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Glenn Bergmark. I'm the chair of the Lemont Environmental Advisory Commission. Just a bit of a history of our commission. It was established, believe it or not, in 1967. And it came about because Lemont was a little bit polluted. In fact, it was terribly polluted. We have heavy industry, etc. And so there was some discussions, and finally the mayor said, we got to do something. So he formed what we called the Lemont Pollution Commission. We changed the name. It just didn't sound right. We're supposed to be going against that. But nevertheless, that's how we began. We have 7 commission members. We also have a village representative. She's sitting right here, pushing the buttons. And she pushes my buttons very carefully. Where is Lemont? It's in the very, very southwest corner of Cook County. Our friends from Hanover Park understand that they live in both DuPage and Cook. Well, we're threefold. We're in Cook, we touch DuPage, and we touch Will. So we're encompassing 3 counties, all of which produce some interesting combinations that I sometimes wonder about. Lemont basically used to be known as a place where you could go swimming in the quarries. No longer is that allowed. We've done a great deal to change the face of Lemont. Many more people live there now. Forest preserves surround most of us. And when I speak about my commission, I'm telling you I feel very much alone. You can see what I did for about a half a century, and I still have a bishop who picks on me. But the difficulty is this: I have 3 environmental engineers that I have to live with on my commission. And then I have a couple of others who are computer persons, and they're scary. And worst of all, I have a retired military gentleman who's with us. Successes, Earth Day celebrations. Believe it or not, Lemont's LEAC was represented at Lewis University in 1970 at the very first Earth Day, and something that we recall with great encouragement. What is Lemont in terms of our successes? It's working with industry. Refineries, power plants, calcining, chemical production, storages, all kinds of things. All of this developed into the situation that led the mayor to say we got to have a commission. So it emerged. And I guess I'd put it this way: the early history of our commission is in one word. It is reactive. We were reacting to who did what, where, and when, and how could we get people to enforce the rules, et cetera, get the attention of the EPA, et cetera, in order to somehow meet the history and the problems with these things. So the early history was really proactive, or reactive, in terms of our posture. Recycling has always been a part of our work from the very beginning. First, it involved motor oil, but then it spread out and out and out. And it included paper shredding, electronics, batteries, bulbs, prescriptions, all kinds of things, even the recycling of bicycles. There is a very important message that I want to give to you, and that is the fact that we no longer look at industry as the enemy, and industry does not look at us as the enemy. Somehow there's a cultivation of a partnership, and it works extremely well. For example, talk about whole household waste, that recycling. We have a company that is going to pay for it for us in the fall. Can you believe it or not? At our fall recycling, we do our recycling twice a year. But very interestingly enough, there's been a partnership with local industry and the communities involved. And that also led to something I'll talk about just for a few moments, OAN. OAN is Odor Alert Network. We'll tell you a little bit more about that. As far as the Earth Day events, one of the things that's really important was the planting of trees as a part of the kids learning and getting educated in terms of what's going on. Yes, I'm watching the clock. All right. When I do talk about the Odor Alert Network, you have to understand that it's not just the danger of the chemical companies, et cetera, et cetera. There's also the odor and the problems connected with it. And so we developed the first one of its kind in the country. There had been odor alert systems, well, for example, in Houston, Texas. But that was only with industry involved, not communities. So it is. It's one of those kind of things where OAN came to pass in terms of our partnership with industry in attempting to meet the needs and try to make our community much more amenable and helpful. One of the very important ingredients in the Odor Alert program is the weather. The weather tells us how and where and what. And so it is, we have 3 cameras that have been purchased, again, by private industry, in order for our people to be able to locate and describe where these problems come. As far as challenges, I think we're just like all the rest of you. We lost 1,100 trees to that wonderful bug, the emerald ash borer. So it is. I told you earlier about the children helping in the planting of trees. That's exactly what we're going to have them doing now. And so it is. The replacement of the trees tell us a little bit about the challenges. We're talking about the replacement also and expanding of OAN, as well as recycling events, educational efforts. And finally, I want to establish the idea of a partnership with you folks, with the efforts that are going on in DuPage County especially. At this particular point, this is the first time we can really link that is directly related to DuPage, which to us is a very important step forward. We look forward to being involved, and as you can understand, we are no longer a reactive outfit. We are a proactive outfit. Thank you very much.
And Lombard's up next. Lilac Village.
All right, thank you, Andrew. We are in great company. I can see that. There's some great things going on. I'm Dave Gorman. I'm the liaison to our Public Works and Environmental Concerns Committee. And I'll tell you a little bit about that. We have a lot of the things that you've been talking about as far as our recycling extravaganzas and so on. I'm a public administrator. I want to talk about contracts and structure and stuff like that. Things that I think have empowered our village. We have a standing committee. It's chaired by a trustee. And I know not every village has this, but the advantage is every discussion that takes place at that committee meeting, once there's a vote to make a recommendation, that goes to the board. That gets into the budget priorities. And so if you don't have that, you might talk with your mayor, recommend that purview be given maybe to an existing committee, or better yet, make yourself another standing committee. There are 7 members. The folding of the Environmental Concerns Committee and the Public Works Committee that took place in 2015 provides some challenges and some opportunities. Now it's a bigger, more powerful committee that takes not only a look at our environmental programs, but is in charge of our capital improvement plan. So we are taking a look at our public projects more with an environmental eye. And the liaisons are myself and the Director of Public Works. I'm not going to have time to go into it, but we have a sustainability framework. The idea, it's on our website, is to look comprehensively, holistically at all aspects of the environment and our impact on it. Water, land, solid waste management, transportation, food. So it's all there. Check it out. I recommend it. Give me ideas. We are also working on climate action goals. We have Cool Cities Climate Action Plan that we've developed. Cool DuPage is something that we'll be approving at the next board meeting. We also look at the solid waste and mosquito control contracts. There are things in those contracts that we've done that I think that you can look at also. Many of you also use Clark Mosquito. They have a program that uses very sustainable methods and a different type of larvicide. Recommend that you look into it. Solid waste contract, I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Our recycling extravaganza had been one of the biggest in the whole Chicagoland area. Thankfully, many other towns now have them, and we're an average size. But we've added things like wood and clothing and furniture to the other items too. Huge success, 1,000 cars. It's a circus every year, but it's worth doing. We do invasive species removal, buckthorn primarily on the Great Western Trail and the Prairie Path. Worked with DuPage County to get them to understand the importance of that, the problem of that. And so removing trees along the trail, initially that was a new thing for the transportation department to think about, but we're seeing a lot of success. That buckthorn is gradually going away and being replaced by more native, better species that are taking advantage of that new sunlight. And we, of course, do the river sweep. I'm in the canoe every year and coordinate volunteers with Renee Frigo over at Glen Ellen. besides cleaning up garbage, we make sure the channels are clear. Last year found a large tree that had fallen across the river, would have contributed to flooding had we got another heavy rain. And we created a Village Sustainability Award. Here's one to the west in Lombard. We've only given 2 so far, but this allows our village to recognize above and beyond actions by property owners, whether it's a hotel or the other one was to a small house that was doing some interesting things with energy conservation and managing their land. So costs nothing. A recognition program is something that everyone can do. Programs to note, we have a unique compost bin and rain barrel grant program. I don't handle any rain barrels or compost bins, but we created this reimbursement program so that someone can go and buy one of these things anywhere they want. Internet, local store. They take a picture of it installed in their yard, give me a copy of the receipt, we cut them a check. Up to $40 for a rain barrel, $80 for a compost bin. Very easy to do. I budgeted at $5,000 a year. Doesn't seem like a lot. It doesn't have to be a lot, but it continues. Through this, we've had hundreds of bins and barrels installed. And also, the local stores are stocking rain barrels and compost bins. And they have the reimbursement form right there next to it. And this sales guy, he sure knows about our program. So it creates a whole conversation and allowed us to get the business sector involved. The solid waste contract used to require that if you weren't a senior citizen, you had to have a 64-gallon toter. And you could only get a small one if you were a senior citizen. Why is that? I don't know. So we got rid of that. So everyone is able to get a 35-gallon toter. They save 25%. It's closer to a pay-as-you-throw model and encourages recycling. We also wrote in that every business gets a free recycling toter and once-a-week service. So there's no excuse anymore. You can actually reduce the size quite often of your garbage container, save money there, by doing the little bit of good effort to separate your recyclables. A few years ago when we were all doing electricity aggregation contracts, our commission said, why don't we do an alternate in the bid to ask for 100% carbon-free source? We did, at no extra cost. All the electricity for everyone in Lombard was carbon-free. And we got the recs to prove it. And I've lost a slide. But looking forward, we're going to try to make progress on the local climate action plan, College of DuPage, those types of programs. We're doing a lot with LED streetlights and traffic signals. And as we talked about, the CRT recycling, that's a challenge for all of us. So thank you very much.
All right, next will be Village of Schaumburg.
Our airport sits on part of DuPage County, so that's why Andrew invited us to come, and we're thrilled to be here. I'm Donna Atkins, and I have Tom with me today. Oh, crap, how do I work this?
That's the button to the right, and that'll be the next slide. This one.
That one? All right, this is just our mission statement. Protect public health, safety, welfare through our awareness programs. We do annual recycling and paper shredding, our environmental fair, landscape awards, a green recognition program, conservation, and all to benefit Schaumburg. Our park district has their own initiatives. We do work with them. I know, everything's geared towards the average male, right? I'll try to make this quick. Our accomplishments, like all of you, our biggest one is our annual recycling extravaganza. We do it in April. We partner with School District 54 and the Public Library. This is just some of our statistics that we won the Governor's Hometown Award in 2010 and 2012. And we earned the District 54 Ambassador Award for Excellence. And this is just an idea. Our electronics, we actually collected in tons, like 100,000 tons. Tom, is that right?
Those things are pounds.
Pounds, I'm sorry.
Thousands of thousands of items.
A lot of people.
The last 5 years, there's been 1,600 cars at minimum come through this 5-hour event.
Gets insane. And last year we just added books to our list of everything, and that was a huge success in collecting the books. We do an environmental fair, and that's coming up for us in May. We partner with the Schaumburg Township Library. This year's theme is going to be a backyard oasis. We kind of line up speakers. Our committee and the library gets exhibitors, and it's all held in the library. So this year it's going to be invite nature to your yard. We're going to have speakers, rain as a resource. We're going to have a cooking demonstration from farm to table, and we're excited. We've got a Eagle Scout coming, and he's going to work with kids to build birdhouses for wrens. We decided, all right, for wrens that they can then take home and put up. Some of the exhibitors, just to name a few, the Sierra Club, our Spring Valley Nature Center, the Bicycle Club. The library is going to have recycling of small electronics out in the parking lot, and Habitat for Humanity Restore is also going to be there collecting. We have our annual award programs that we do, our annual landscape awards. We started this in 2005. It recognizes businesses, multifamily, residential developments. Our categories that we base it on is most improved, best maintained, and best natural landscaping. And then we also, in 2010, started our annual Al Larson Environmental Awards, named for our mayor. It's businesses and residents that support and promote green actions. And the categories energy efficiency, renewable energy, conservation of natural resources, and recycling programs. The village, our village liaison, gets this information from residents. They can see, or we have applications that people will be nominated, so we get to choose from nominations. Another initiative we had was our annual September Fest. Schaumburg does the annual September Fest. This year, our committee decided not to do it. The festival, it has over 250,000 attendees to it, and we usually on that Saturday over Labor Day weekend have a booth for the Schaumburg Environmental Committee. Some of our past themes were rain barrels. We had an energy bike, which was kind of cool. It had a light bulb attached to it, light bulbs, and you had to pedal and try and generate. I'm like, all right, I ride my bike every day. This should be a piece of cake. But it was actually tough. It actually shows you how much energy it takes to power something. We had recycled textiles and energy, our vertical farming. The guys from Double Acre came and showed us. But the problem with, yes?
Just 1 minute. I'm just giving you the signal for.
Oh, okay. I'll talk a little quicker here. But the problem with that is in that setting, people are coming for fun, music, food, and just trying to get people in, to look, see what we're going to offer. And it's a lot of work and a lot of planning for something that doesn't really have the payoff. Our last initiative, we adopt a stretch of Schaumburg Road from Roselle Road to Plum Grove that we clean every year. And our challenges, again, public attendance at our community and community support, even though, we've got partnerships, a lot of outreach. I mean, we take advantage of our newsletter, social media, our websites. We do a taping with the mayor on our cable channel, local newspapers. So again, it's just getting the public and support for our initiatives. And where we look to be right now, the village of Schaumburg is beginning a project to update their Green Action Plan, the CGAP. It's going to be led by village staff, and our village liaison will keep our committee posted. We have 9 members, and then we hope the committee can partner and implement and help support some of those initiatives and get our community involved. And again, for more information, we can either call or go on our website. Thank you.
And next up, Villa Park.
Okay, please bear with me. I've never done this before, and the decision for me to speak literally happened a week ago. So, my name is Jess Spivak. I'm here for the Villa Park Commission, Environmental Concerns Commission, and there are essentially 5 commissioners. However, our chairman just stepped down March 1st. Thank you. The Environmental Concerns Commission advises President and the Village Board on matters of preservation, protection, and improvement of the environment, including the quality of land, air, and water. We also have a board liaison who's here today. His name is Bob Wagner. We also have another commissioner here. Her name is Anne Marie Testa. She's also sitting over there. So what our accomplishments are. This year we participated in, last year we participated with Scarce to offer public collection of pumpkins after Halloween, and that seemed to be very successful. The 3 people here are volunteers through Scarce. They were high school students. We also participated in cooking oil collection after Thanksgiving, also affiliated with Scarce. We also participated in a metro station cleanup. Here are the plantings that we helped put in. We also had a community organizer for Conservation Foundation annual river stream sweep. That's our board liaison there. And that seemed to be very productive. It's held behind the Odium, the stream there. We also table community festivals to promote recycling, water conservation, and home energy efficiency, including the Oktoberfest and the Summerfest, just to name a few. We recommend to the village board to allow greater freedom for residents in using native landscaping. And we also have a recycling-themed decorated tree at this annual presentation of, it's called Joyful Traditions, to get the community together. It happens right around Christmas time. They have Santa for the kids, and groups can decorate Christmas trees. And we also provide biodegradable plates and cups for the event. We have advocated for greater accessibility to recycling for attendees at village-sponsored events. We also provide at the local library bins for non-standard recycling streaming, such as writing utensils. It's affiliated with TerraCycle, and I personally have an account with them, so we're collecting. That's a new project we're working on, so I don't know how effective it's becoming, but it's there if people want it. We also participate in the environment. We had attendees at the 2016 DuPage Environmental Summit. We collaborated with the Villa Park Library on speakers for Earth Day programs. We advocated for the Village of Villa Park to become a partner in the Cool DuPage initiative. And our strengths. We have committed and talented commissioners. There are 5 currently, not including the chairman, which is up in the air at the moment. We have sympathetic village administration, and we have continued funding for commission through village budget. we actually get an allotted, I think, we get money from the village to help with the commission. Some of our challenges include apathy and lack of awareness issues by village residents, relatively low recycling participation. We do have bins provided. We're allowed to have bins ourselves, and people are participating, but there's a small area that they're starting a standard program to provide 96-gallon toters, and we're looking at the numbers as to how effective that's become. Another challenge is recruiting. With only 5 commissioners at the moment, it's difficult to get people to even know that we exist. And if we meet the 4th Thursday of the month at Village Hall, so if you're interested in becoming a member, you could contact environmental concerns at invillapark.com. And another challenge is selecting future leadership for the commission. Where we can grow, better, more aggressive public outreach, public education, use social media and cable television to reach more village residents, staffing, of course, communication, develop better lines of communication with the village staff and the village green team, which is village board, are people who actually work for the village. Develop long-range objectives for commission or actual goals. And we don't actually have a 5-year plan. That's not something that we discussed, but we have a couple projects. We're working on producing a monarch way station, which we're considering a few locations, specifically including near the Prairie Path, which if people don't know what a monarch way station is, it's to develop places that provides resources for monarchs to help with their migration, and environmental recognition, to recognize environmental achievements. It's not an award per se, but we're basically recognizing achievements of individuals, groups, businesses, organizations in Villa Park, which we hope to roll out this year. So, thank you.
So I am not Sarah Anderson, and so just got notification that I would be speaking just a few minutes ago. And she prepared this, and it's very much of a framework, so I'm going to be very much ad-libbing. I want to first give kudos to Andrew. This is amazing that you put this together. I think it's fabulous to have collaboration. I don't think we should all be little entities unto ourselves and not sharing ideas. And also kudos to Kay. And since I'm about collaboration, I've worked with Kay, I've volunteered at her wonderful establishment, and so I pull in a lot of ideas from her into our commissions. So, you know, I'm all about the collaboration. We have 7 commissioners, and I have to say I'm in great company with formally trained people. We have a PhD, we have environmental engineers, and we have a liaison to the city council. So we do advise the city council. That's one of our functions, and we've had some successes there. I suppose I should be changing this. We also I feel like one of our biggest duties or one of our biggest functions is in educating the community. It's also one of our biggest challenges, but I'll come to that later. I really wanted to stress our climate action plan, and I can sing its praises because I didn't write it. I'm fairly new to the commission. I am not one of the educated members. I'm just a concerned citizen that wanted to be part of it. And our climate action plan is amazing, comprehensive, with measurable goals. We had a physicist from Fermilab working on this with the rest of our educated people. And I really recommend that you guys, anybody that's interested, You don't have to start from square one. Go to our website. It's all on the website. It's a great framework. Anybody could plug in their own city individual interests, and you'd have a framework. And I think Lombard, it sounded like you had the same kind of a plan that we could reference also. So in it, first we started with, when we started that climate action plan, we started with a energy and emissions profile for the whole community. And so we have that as our baseline. And as we move forward with implementing it, then we're going to keep reevaluating our energy and emissions profile. And it's all scientifically done. And actually there's tools on our website too for residents and businesses so they can calculate their own carbon footprint. So we have included in the climate action plan, there's energy efficiency initiatives, and that was kind of our biggest focus over the past year, was promoting energy audits both to businesses and residences. And there's so many resources available from ComEd and NICOR available to citizens and businesses, and also even to churches. There's a free program where churches can get free energy audits. We have natural area strategies. Yeah, it was just adopted by our city council just February. So it's been a long process back and forth. It goes to committees, comes back. But they finally adopted the complete climate action plan. It has a section on waste management. We're hoping to do community composting. There is a section on sustainable landscaping and natural area strategies. And we're very lucky because we have the most forest preserve, DuPage County Forest Preserve within our community of any of DuPage counties. So we're very fortunate. Opposite problem from you. We have no big industry. We don't have any huge challenges in that manner. But yeah, I you know, we're very, very fortunate. We also have a green building rating system, which uses a recognition to encourage others to participate. We have changed out our bulbs. We got a grant. $40,000 grant for changing out bulbs in our city lights to all LEDs. We have transportation strategies. We've started a green fleet. That's sort of a slow process, but we're working on that. And a no idling at the schools. And our school district is amazing too. They're very proactive and they're easy to work with. Let me see if I told you everything about the community or about the CIP. We also work with, we have a tree initiative that we're working, and you guys can read that. We were promoting the no volcano mulching also. I think one of our biggest successes is our Arbor Day celebration, which is nothing in comparison to the green on the Fox in Batavia, but it's along those lines. We give out free tree seedlings to all the residents, and every year we pick different ones to encourage diversity. They're all natives, and I know not all of them grow. I always take home some and have quite a few that I've gotten years ago that are now big trees. So I think that brings in a lot of people, and we have a captive audience. So this is where we can do our best educating. We have all kinds of educational resources. We have entertainment. We provide refreshments, and we try to use all green supplies for that. That is one of our biggest successes. Another way we educate is through our resource newsletter. The city puts out a newsletter monthly. We add a resource to it biannually. We have a battery recycling program, which we do have to pay for, but we also have a budget. We're very fortunate to have a budget, and sadly, I have to say we don't use it all, which is really bad. We're talking about doing a rain barrel that somebody talked about, a rain barrel promotion. We also give out rain barrels at the Arbor Day fest that we have. We have other green raffle prizes that we give out, LED bulbs and birdhouses and all kinds of green things that bring people in. And again, as I say, it's a captive audience, so we do a lot of educating and we have a lot of presenters there. We have been successful with diminishing chemical treatments in our public lands, and we got a grant from Kay for water improvement, and we got actually permanent medallions. Instead of having to do the painting of the no dumping on the storm drains, we have permanent medallions now that we've installed. We had a Eagle Scout actually managed the installation of it, but it was through a grant from Scarce that we could purchase that, so we've done that. Challenges, reaching out and engaging the local businesses. Again, we have all this information available, and it's engaging them to take advantage of all the resources. That is a big challenge. We do not have our own arborist. Since we have budget, we're talking about potentially having a part-time or bringing someone in part-time. And we would like to do the buckthorn. We have volunteers that would like to help, but apparently we need somebody who is an expert to manage the volunteers, so people aren't pulling out things that they shouldn't be pulling out. And then we working on continually updating our tree inventory is also a challenge. Engaging the citizens, like I said, I think that's one of our biggest functions, and getting citizens engaged is a huge challenge. We used to try to do the environmental seminars and movie nights, and we had poor attendance, so that has been a problem. And our EIC meetings, that's the Environmental Commission, the attendance is definitely not perfect. 5 years from now, we're still going to be implementing and tracking our climate action plan. And as I said, we're going to be reevaluating our energy and emissions profile during that time. And as I said, also it has measurable goals. And also doing a complete natural area inventory. This is one of our goals too, is education, which we will do at our Arbor Day event. We'll be educating about the coal tar sealants. It's still amazing how many people really have no idea. And we have a lot of homeowners associations involved with townhome groupings, and I know they utilize the cheap coal tar sealants when they get the guys to come and do. So we are trying to educate there. And I guess that's it.
Yeah, I've got the clicker, the one on the right. I'm Mike Ferguson. I've been with the West Chicago Environmental Commission for about 4 years. Volunteer, no education required, with a background in environmental or whatever. I just have an initiative. Some of our annual events, we have our Blooming Fest booth. It's a downtown attraction that happens every May. It was started by selling plants. We're there to let them know that we exist. We hand out order forms for rain barrels, try to answer questions about the Environmental Commission, try to recruit if we can. Paper shredding event, it's an annual thing that we have first weekend in June. Last year we shredded 12,000 pounds of paper. And a lot of people showed up for that, but we were hoping for more. So we're going to try to get the word out a little bit better. Seems to be an issue with all of our commissions. People don't know that we exist. Holiday lights recycling, we have multiple points in town, at our hardware stores, at a church, city hall, encouraging people to, when they're getting ready to put up their holiday lights and you find that dead string, we have a place for you to put them in a nice way. Adopt a highway. We do a semi-annual cleanup of Route 64 from Route 59 east to Sunny Acres Farm. We do both sides of the road. Rain barrels is something that I brought up. We have the rain barrel ordering at Bloomingfest in early May, and come the first weekend in June, we deliver the rain barrels. Outdoor lighting ordinance. I've been working with various sources trying to create an ordinance to try to control the amount of lighting that we have. They call it bug lighting, B-U-G. It's for backlighting, uplighting, and glare. We've been working with the International Dark Skies Association to have this ordinance. I've got a copy of the Flagstaff, Arizona lighting ordinance. We're trying to reduce the color temperature of lighting that's used outdoors. People are saying LED is the way to go. Well, as far as energy conservation, yes. As far as the color of the light, not so much. We find that the high pressure sodium, which is that kind of yellowish orange, is more to the natural light spectrum. Our sun is not a blue-white star, it is a yellow star. We'd find that by reducing the amount of lighting, we would be reducing the uplighting and the sky glow. As an example, in my home, I can look out at night and I can see every branch of the tree that's 95 feet behind my house, right down to the smallest twig. And it's just in sky glow. It's ridiculous. LEDs have been gaining a lot of popularity, again, because of the energy usage, or the reduced energy usage. If we can educate the public about reducing that, and if you take a look, you can see where Chicago is. How much of that is uplighting? Well, unfortunately, it's too much. The LEED resolution, leadership in energy and environmental design, is defined by the United States Green Building Council. We're trying to propose get together a resolution to put before our city government to make sure that we achieve the highest LEED certification that we can with buildings that are being planned or being erected. A lot of the architectural firms, we've had a few visit our commission, and they are trying to point their clients to LEED certification for their own benefit. It might be a slightly initial higher cost, but they will be reducing their carbon footprint and actually producing a better building. Challenges, publicity. Nobody knows we exist, or very few people, except maybe our close friends. We're trying to enlighten the public that we do exist. This is what we do. You know, come on down. We have inquiries about public gardening. Now, I'm realizing what Batavia said, that you got critters visiting the garden, that might be a concern. But we've been trying to find an area where we can have a public garden. The issues come down to space. Does it have enough light? Is there too many trees in the area? And water. Rain barrels, we've tried using rain barrels and it just doesn't seem to be enough. Curbside recycling has really taken a hit in our town. In recent past, we've had a lot of contamination of the recycling containers, resulting in that whole load of recycling having to be taken to a waste facility. 5 years from now, we're trying to encourage multifamily residents recycling, but we haven't defined it yet or found out how we can do it yet. Stormwater management, we're looking at permeable pavers, using landscaping to help reduce stormwater runoff. Bike friendliness in West Chicago. We're trying to get more bicycle parking areas for people, park their bikes, ride your bikes more often. If we can provide them a space with parking, they'll be riding more often because they'll realize that we know that they need a place to place their bikes in a safe area. We also have an issue with the not the types of paths, the directions of the paths. A lot of east-west paths through West Chicago, very little goes north and south. And there's areas I'd like to ride to, but I can't get there safely. At least I don't feel I can. And in conclusion, well, this sounds a little hokey, but I'll say it anyway. Please take home with you the seeds that are planted here today. Lighting, lead, recycling, energy conservation, etc. Think about how these may be nurtured and brought to maturity.
So I keep hearing it. It's not easy being green. Can you watch him for me?
Okay.
All right, my name's Kim Lombardozzi. I'm a new chairperson for the Environmental Improvement Commission. We actually had our second birthday in January, so it sounds like we're really new compared to most of you. Thank you. Mary Gabriel is our secretary. She's with me here today. She's been our secretary for 3 years and really the glue that keeps us on track and together. Just a little bit about Westmont. We're in that bottom little corner, not corner, but little area down there. You might be familiar with some of our famous residents. I didn't know about Kara Salek. I guess she's the modern day Laura Croft. So if you haven't read any of her things, she's traveled all over the world and is a famous writer for the National Geographic. So our successes, I broke it down in about 4 categories. Our collection events have been very successful. Guest speakers, not so much, but successful for me because I got to listen to great ideas. Increased visibility and communication. We seem to get a lot of play in the newspapers and on the internet. And then we also have had success with our village regarding policy review and recommendations. So I'll share a few of those with you. We also worked with Scarce in regards to our pumpkin collection. We got a nice big sign on the road so people could see it when they were driving by. We also put together some brochures. We had them at the Village Hall. Mary and I went to different businesses up and down the street. We went to a couple of the local grocery stores. We asked them to help promote it. I'm not sure if any of those things helped, but we did get some good results. We had a vermicomposting at our Westmont Street Fair. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that, but we have a lot of different car shows during the summertime to bring people into town. We also give out certificates of appreciation for our partners. At the end of the year, I kind of took a look at who were our partners and who do we want to continue working with in the following years. And then we also did a pumpkin smash. I don't know if anybody saw any play on that, but in addition to the pumpkin recycling, we did a pumpkin smash where they went up on a lift and people decorated their pumpkins, and you were graded on the splash and the distance and so forth, and we gave out awards. So it was really fun. For the holidays, we did a holiday light collection. This is our second year. We did it last year, or 2 years ago, and it was our first one, and we didn't time it very well. So we decided, actually it was Mary's idea, to do it a little earlier so that when people were, after they had eaten their turkeys and were pulling out their decorations, that's when you discover you don't have those strings of lights that work. So we started our collection earlier. And I don't know if you can read any of this, but let's see. For the holiday lights, we actually got 2,237 pounds of lights, and they had to keep coming and picking up our container. We did it in conjunction with the fire department, so we had the collection bin there. We're also doing the paper shredding, and actually that's a police initiative. It's a fundraiser that they do for Special Olympics. The Sharps program is new. It's actually part of our waste management contract, and for some reason we weren't utilizing that part, and as we reviewed the contract, we discovered that, and I said, hey, where's the Sharps bin, you know? And we finally did get one, and that's at the police department as well. For needles, collection of medical needles and that kind of medical waste. Who knew we needed that? Okay. The guest speakers that we had were from Scarce, from Clark Mosquito. Someone mentioned them as well. They talked about their more environmentally friendly initiatives regarding low carbon footprint in regards to treating our village. They ride bikes around instead of driving cars around to the different treatment areas. That helps reduce their carbon footprint. The Morton Arboretum came and talked to us. Very, very informative discussion about native plantings and trees. And I guess our village is doing pretty good. Our arborist is doing a good job of picking alternate tree types to replant the areas that emerald ash borer is devastated. And then we had Oakbrook Hilton come in and talk about their beekeeping efforts. So that was fun because we actually got to eat honey at that meeting from an actual hive. So he brought the honeycomb in and we just got forks and this year, we've got our 2016 Earth Month event. We had a kickoff last week with our first speaker, and we've got 5 more speakers coming up. And we've also got a seedling giveaway. I've been told I have a minute left. But basically, we've also been getting increased visibility through our YouTube, environmental messages. We actually put on water bills. We had all this real estate here that was never used, and now we can actually inform every household that gets a water bill in the village about what's going on. Policy review and recommendations. These are some similar ones that I heard as well, but the coal tar RFP ban we've got going on. GMO labeling. We're also part of College of DuPage. That just happened recently. Our challenges, very similar to everyone else. Presence. People, time. We have money budgeted for us, but we've been told not to spend it, so we really don't have money. Or maybe we might be allowed to spend it. I'm not sure. We haven't really gotten a clear, definitive answer to that. Our 1-year plan, we don't have, or 5-year plan, we don't have one, and I'm a new chairperson, just my 3rd month here, so we're actually working on our climate action plan for 2016. And I think once we can hone in on what we've been actually doing, and we can figure out where we're going to go. So I think that will help give us some clarity going forward and more outreach to residents. So hopefully the right kind. So I know it isn't easy being green, but it's getting better, and I think working with all of you will help make us even more productive. So thank you.
Hi, everybody. How fun, huh? So I'm Kay, and I've been on the city's Environmental Improvement Commission for 34 years. That's a long time. We have 14 members on our commission. Most of our commission members are there a very long time, 10 and 20 years, 28 years. We have long-term membership, and we have a lot of participation. We have a lot of staff support, particularly with our communications department. We have a budget, and which is the button? I have it upside down. Nancy Flynn is here with me from our commission, and we have a really good time, right, Nancy? We have a lot of fun. We're a little crazy, but that's all right. We really enjoy trying new things, and we enjoy spreading the word that we do. I wear many hats, and so I also try things out in Wheaton for Scarce, and then we try them out with everybody else. But our fluorescent bulb recycling project is something I really wish everybody could do. Our residents throw out fluorescent bulbs. They're all full of mercury now that they don't make the T12s anymore. Those bulbs have a tremendous amount of mercury. I drive by people's houses and they've got 2 bulbs sticking out of their garbage. I have to stop and pick them up and put them in my car. We don't want that mercury. You've probably read recently that the mercury in our area is way up. This is one simple thing we could do. There's John Mulrow, past intern and timekeeper here today, with Kevin Maloney, our city forester, one of our past interns. So we collect the bulbs from residents and small businesses, and we do the tubes. Since the compact fluorescents can go to Home Depot, we do the long tubes, aquarium lights, grow lights, and as well as the 4-footers and so forth. We have an annual native plant sale. This is our 17th year, I believe. It's open to anybody. It is not a fundraiser. It is to educate people about the importance of native plants, deep roots, rainwater plants, plants that feed our pollinators. There are trees, shrubs, forbs. I mean, it's just amazing. The prices are $2.50. Some of the trees are $20. Some of the shrubs are $15. They are all we kind of fight over which trees are there. So they are not cultivars, they are not hybrids, they're northeastern Illinois native trees, and the project is called the Landscape Diversity Committee. We had the Dutch elm disease, and then we were still stupid and we planted all ash trees, and now it's costing us a fortune to clean up that mess. So it's really important to try to know the difference between native petunias and the petunias at all the stores, and understand that the native petunias, you buy them one time and they come back year after year after year, and they grow and they spread and they need very little water. You save money in the long run. We help manage our stormwater. It's a win-win-win. We have a lot of volunteers. It opens at 8:30 in the morning, and by 9:45, half at least is gone. We have a lot of initiatives, a lot of action to reduce the litter. You all have probably noticed our busiest streets are getting more and more litter. So we have the Pick Up 5 program started by Bob Young on our commission. When you go for a walk, it's not fun to walk with me because you spend all your time picking up litter. So we decided that if there was a limit, if everybody picked up 5 things, then you could go on with the rest of your walk and not feel guilty. So this is a Pick Up 5 project. Adopt a High, we were the first city. We brought it to Illinois, actually, the Adopt a Highway program. So we've been working on that. Nancy Flynn heads up that program for our commission. The Prairie Path Cleanup, we have hundreds of volunteers. And we don't really always do the river sweep in May. We constantly do creek cleanups throughout our city. The monthly collections that we have are the second Saturdays of every month. It's today. We do electronics, scrap metal, cooking oil, the fluorescent tubes, household batteries, car batteries. It's almost like a mini recycling extravaganza. We started the recycling extravaganzas 27 years ago, but now we're doing mini ones the second Saturday of every month. And I got a little phone message that we had 325 cars already before 11 o'clock. So they're very, very busy days. We sure could use some more help with more towns carrying them on. It's a lot of work. It's very gratifying, but it's a lot of work. We do have electronics at the curb, and that has been the best addition we've had to our contract. So 3 years ago, we added to our contract where people could put computers, televisions at the curb. I wasn't really comfortable with computers at the curb with your private information. So we have televisions and whatever you want to put at the curb, right, with a special sticker. And then you can still come the second Saturday with your private information. Our hauler for our electronics grinds everything that is brought in on that second Saturday. So your personal information is taken care of. We have an annual bike festival now. We started it last year. It was about 2 years in the making. But we work with Working Bikes this year. They'll be picking up their bikes that day. And we'll have all kinds of emphasis on our trails, on bike repair, on more biking, bike racks, those kinds of things. It was very successful last year. We had good weather. Really fun at many of our Wheaton events now. We have a bike valet program for strollers and bikes so that people, if they're wondering where to park their bikes, we have a big sectioned off area, and we're very proud of that. The bike committee, subcommittee is working very hard. Challenges, sharps are our biggest challenge. You know, we all have the medicine collection bins. The DEA has collection programs, but the sharps, we have EpiPens. So many families have EpiPens. The EpiPens still have medicine in them, hopefully. Hopefully you didn't have to use them. So the medicine becomes expired. So that's a sharp. We have so many people with allergies and diabetic dogs and cats. There are many, many sharps out there. We have a heroin problem in DuPage County. Many people reuse the needles. We have the hepatitis C from reusing needles as well. So if we could figure out ways, Westmont has it in their contract, Lyle has a free drop-off program, Bartlett has a small initiative, and we got a grant and we gave it to the Glenside Fire Department where people can come in and pick up a red container, fill it with their needles, bring it back, and the Glenside Fire Department is handling it. It's really a problem for our community, it's a problem for the environment, and it's something we need to all be working on. Long-term goal, we really want to have the food scrap composting. Many of you know I wrote the law for food scrap composting for the state. Really want to have it at my curb. More and more towns, I'm grateful to Naperville for having it, but we want to collect all those food scraps. Long-term goal, Nancy's been working really hard on charging stations for our city, but we don't really want to make pollution one place to make less pollution someplace else. We want to have the solar-powered charging station, so we aren't making the pollution at all. And next up is Winfield, our good friends. Thanks, everybody. And you know also that Andrew was our intern, right? So I've got two of our great interns here. Watching their expertise and watching their success is wonderful.
My name is Phil Mustis. I'm a village trustee in the village of Winfield, and I sit on what is our environmental, stormwater, public works, et al. Committee, and I don't advise it. I sit on the committee. Trustee Bezier is here. He's the chairman of the committee. Eric Spandy, who's the village president, is president of the Illinois Prairie Path. This will be the theme of this, this little talk here. Probably the key thing to understand is I'm a troublemaker. I do that professionally for my company. I'm turning it upside down now with a new ERP system to everybody's joy. And I'm a troublemaker with the village of Winfield. And when you don't have a lot of money to spend on any of these things, I'm jealous of everybody sitting here, you have to really have a very sympathetic village government to integrate into their decisions environmental concerns, or you miss a lot of opportunities. We need to piggyback on what we're doing anyway to put an environmental spin on it. And you're probably wondering, if you go to the next one, please. Let's skip over this one, please. You see forest preserves all down the side, the western end. Cantini Park is under here. We're pretty much surrounded to the west by forest preserves. And what that does is that's a real opportunity for us. There's prairie paths running through there. There's all kinds of things. You can see the paths are delineated there. And what it does is it gives us a lot of opportunities and a lot of advantages. As opposed to paving, we push through a bikeways plan, and we're starting to put up bikeway signage through the village. And it's really easy when 3 people out of the 7 corporate authorities are environmentally wired in. You've got 3 votes out of the 4 you need right off the top. So all we got to do is put the persuasive powers on Trustee McCurdy, and we have enough to make a move. You also will run across a trail that's going to be coming through town, and it runs along the river and will be going right through the center of Winfield. And do we want to spend $136,000 on that? Yes, we do. Do we want to become a hub of this? Do we want the people on the bike path coming through the center of Winfield? Yes, we do. These are opportunities that the government has that sometimes the commissioners don't have. And the Riverwalk, once we get the path in, there's your path right there. Once we get the path in along the river to join us from the north down to the south, we'll be working on developing a Riverwalk, something similar to other towns might have. But again, if you got the government involved, it goes a little more smoothly. The results of some of these concepts or successes is you'll see, like we have just discovered, Winfield is number 6 or 7, depending on who you believe, as best town for families. Now, some of these you have to take with a grain of salt. Best town to get a good night's sleep. You know, I mean, some of it gets a little hokey. Retired, number 3. Best town for young families, number 4. Best town for safety, number 5 or 9, depending on who you believe. What the point of this is, if you're going to start trouble and advance your agenda, you have to integrate the village government in the environmental concern groups. And say, well, what does that mean? What that means is you need to work to support candidates who are sympathetic to your viewpoint. I'm really 23 years old. I just look this way since I got involved in Village of Winfield politics. It can be very stressful, but a lot of people don't want to get their hands dirty and go door to door in February when it's just terrible weather outside, advocating a candidate. And what if the candidate double crosses me and isn't really environmentally concerned? I helped get this person elected. So you have to make a commitment to candidates to advance your agenda, because when I'm making a decision, I can look at the environmental side. Well, yeah, let's build the bikeways path in there. The prairie path, $136,000. The Forest Preserve District got $2,000,001. We have to come up with $136,000, and they'll put in a path right through our town. Great thing for Winfield. And you'll probably say, well, okay, what's the challenges for the future? Probably the biggest one is something you can do now is to get your elected officials to sit on, as opposed to advise, the environmental concerns committees. That's a key thing because you've already got 3 votes before you start. The presentation that's flashed up here now, and the village president would like me to go through the emerald ash borer and recycling and everything you've heard before line for line. But he's wired in, Trustee Bezier is wired in, the chairman of the Finance and Admin Committee for the Village of Winfield is wired in. That would be me. So under the heading, I'll leave you with the thought that a good lawyer knows the law, a great lawyer knows the judge, a good environmental commissioner knows about the environment, a great environmental commissioner makes sure he or she supports and knows, and hopefully one and the same gets the right people elected. Because none of this went anywhere until we got, exterminated is probably too strong of a word, we helped return to private life a number of people in the village so that we can move the village forward. So that would be the probably the bottom line to all of these things. And sorry if I didn't go into the emerald ash borer or these other things, but like I said at the beginning, I'm a troublemaker by nature. Thank you.
Inspiring. Can we just take a moment to just give a round of applause to everyone who spoke today? Woo! It is a good day to be from DuPage. I'm proud. All right. So we can go a little bit into the DCECC survey results. So every environmental commissioner was asked to partake in our survey that we created. All right, let me flip the page here. Let's jump right in. We had 37 respondents to our survey instrument, and that was out of the total 119 environmental commissioners currently surveying DuPage County municipalities, which makes about a 31% response rate, which is actually an above average response rate for action research such as this. So, woohoo! We had 12 out of the 17 environmental commissions and or committees participate in the survey in some way, which made great input for our data. Before we dive into the response data, I wanted to touch on a bit of the biases that may be present in our survey sample. Basically, I want to let you know that some of this data may be a little misleading or not a full picture of the reality in DuPage County for the following reasons. The voluntary response bias may be present in our data, which basically means the participant in the survey may have self-selected by volunteering to fill out the survey to represent their entire commission, and that may affect the results in the survey. By the way, I'll be saying commission and committee interchangeably, so I apologize in advance. The second bias is basically the opposite of voluntary response bias, in that the person who may have filled out the survey may have accepted this responsibility because it was delegated to them, which might also affect the data. Obviously, as I mentioned before, we didn't get 100% participation, so anyone who didn't participate with the survey did not have their views represented, excuse me. And lastly, we asked some pretty pointed questions in the survey, and that may have introduced the social desirability bias, which means that participants in the survey may not have answered to their best ability because they were consciously or subconsciously afraid of how their answers would reflect back upon them as an individual or on their commission or committee. Okay, so diving in. This graph shows the distribution in commission member term length. You can see a majority of commission members who participated in the survey have been serving for less than 5 years, with members participating 5 to 20 years being the second most represented. And I'm glad to report there were 3 respondents who reported they had been serving in the DuPage Environmental Commission for more than 20 years. Altogether, the 37 COM members who participated in the survey alone amassed 268.5 total years of experience. So that's just for the people that participated in the survey, which is pretty exciting. Erica, can you hear out of this one? All right, we're good. All right, 268.5. We'll just go back to that. And remember, that's just for the 37 who participated. This next section covers the commission member term limits. So 14% of respondents noted they were unsure how long their term lasted. 11% noted their term had no limit whatsoever. 3% had a 1-year term limit. 23% had a 2-year term limit. 40% noted they had a 3-year term limit, which, as you can see, was the most common response. 6% noted they had a 4-year term, and 3% noted they had an 8-year term limit. And I should note, I went back and broke down this data by commission. There were 12 commissions who responded to the survey. Of those 12, 8 commissions had multiple people fill out the survey instead of just one person representing their entire commission filling out the survey. Of those 8 commissions, there were multiple people who responded to the survey. Only 2 of the commissions had consistent responses for this answer about term limits. I hope that makes sense. It was kind of difficult to explain, but I hope you can, I don't want to editorialize, but we might be able to extrapolate that means a majority of the environmental commission members don't know how long their term limit is. All participants noted, was not in the script. All right. Oops, that's term limit. Perfect. All right. All participants noted they were appointed in some way, with the majority of us being appointed by the head of a municipality, such as a mayor or president. There were 5 responses where the head of the municipality decided with the municipal board. One response noted that the head of the municipality decided with the approval of the chairperson for the Environmental Commission, which I thought was interesting. And there was also a response where a chairperson was appointed by their previous chairperson. All right, the next question we asked on the survey was, what do you perceive as the mission of your group? And we got a lot of great answers. I was able to do something called operationalizing with this data. And this basically means that I identified common themes and individual responses and then quantified the distribution through the entire sample set that we received. I think that by asking a relatively open-ended question and then operationalizing the results, we were able to ensure we were not leading anyone into any specific answers. And as I looked at the data, I witnessed 2 differentiated patterns that I thought were worthy of dissection. The first grouping of answer themes were action items of what the respondents believed their commission does or aims to do. But some folks expanded beyond the original question by also listing their perceived reasons the group was pursuing the previously mentioned action items. So just to reiterate, the first section is what the respondent perceived were action items for their commission, and the second section is what the respondent perceived were the motives for those actions. So action items, as you can see here, support the board/government. We had 22 responses. Educate people on environmental issues. Strengthen community connection to the environment, which I was like, oh, so sweet. All right, to create programming, 13 responses. To implement programs. To create or propose policy. To encourage, which I think we kind of can underestimate how important that is, to encourage each other, ourselves, our communities. To conserve resources, to enrich the environment, implement policy, support local businesses, conduct research. Here's a few were kind of just one-offs. Problem solve, strengthen the community's connection to each other, once again, a heart warmer. To control water pollution, control light pollution, air pollution, sound pollution, soil pollution, implement arts and beautification, support schools. And so then next is the motivations. Some people mentioned, why are we doing this? Well, because we want ecological diversity or health. We want to conserve our environment. We want to have a high quality of life, protect human health. We want public infrastructure for a sustainable lifestyle to make living sustainably easy and effortless. Beautiful place to live in. We want safety, respect for nature, long-term economic security, really important. We want to change community behavior and attitudes, eco-friendly policies. We want to, and these are the kind of one-offs again, increase awareness, prevent conflicts, really important, strong sense of community, recycling everywhere, done correctly. We want to prepare for or lessen the effects of climate change, very important. Eliminate stormwater issues, work to promote or prioritize LEED status. So those are all things that I thought was really important. That's what you all identified that we as a coalition are focused on. I think it's when you press the button here. I'm on to you, computer. Okay. All right, so this next question is one of my favorites. We asked you, our commissioners, how much time you spent each month on the following activities: research, networking/outreach, constituency feedback, correspondence, volunteer days, education, and we gave you an opportunity to write in your own option as well. We wanted to find the average volunteer hours an environmental commissioner DuPage County dedicates each month. So we omitted 4 out of the total 37 respondents from this section completely, since they self-identified in the survey as paid staff who serve on the commission. So we totaled the responses and found that the volunteer commissioners who responded to our survey spend 56 hours a month on research, 22 hours a month on networking or outreach, 11.5 hours on constituency feedback, 29 hours on correspondence, 80.5 hours for volunteer days, 24.5 hours for education, and 71 hours for other volunteer projects. That's per month for the people that responded. Yeah, for everyone. Yep, so from that information, we're able to figure out that the average amount of hours an environmental commission member donates outside of commission meetings every month, which it comes to around 9 hours per member per month. So if you multiply that average out to all 119, all right, 119 environmental commission members across DuPage County, we find that in an average month in DuPage County, there are 1,071 hours donated by environmental commission members, which comes to around 12,852 hours a year. And if you add in the actual meeting hours that people have on average, you find that the environmental commissions of DuPage County donate 17,136 hours a year toward environmental sustainability efforts. From this data, we can find the opportunity cost for volunteers of DuPage County and thus quantify the fiscal value to the county that our environmental commissions provide. The per capita income average in DuPage is $38,398 annually. That breaks down to about $18.50 an hour full-time. So if we're assuming our commissioners make the average DuPage income, we find they are donating $317,016 worth of their time every year. And keep in mind, most commissioners serve a 3-year term. Obviously, this data doesn't take into account many factors, but I think it's nice to kind of ballpark how much we as a coalition of environmental commissions and committees are worth to our communities, because as they say, money talks. The next question was if a board member was present at your environmental commission meetings. 18 said they did have a board member present, 17 they did not. 1 voted they occasionally have a board member present. 1 person noted they were not sure. Every commission that responded to the survey had a municipal staff member who attends their meetings. And before I go into the next question, I want to remind everyone that our goal in doing the survey was to get accurate data so that we can improve from where we are. So in this next question, we asked commission and committee members if they felt their voices were being valued within their communities. So we asked if they were feeling their voice was heard by their chairperson, their municipal staff, and by their board. Every commissioner except 1 felt their voice was heard by their fellow commissioners, which is awesome. 4 respondents self-identified as being the chair of their group. So for this next section, we had 33 respondents say they felt heard by their chairperson, which is great. Once again, there was someone who noted they felt heard occasionally. When we got to municipal staff, 34 respondents felt heard. 1 respondent marked they sometimes felt heard. 2 respondents marked that they felt their voices were ignored by municipal staff, and 1 person didn't respond. We then asked whether commissions felt their voice was heard by their municipal board. 8 respondents marked they felt their voices were heard by their board. 8 respondents marked that they did not, or they were sometimes felt their board heard them. 5 respondents marked that they felt their municipal board ignored their voices, and 16 didn't respond. I thought this was especially worthy of note since we identified earlier in the slideshow that supporting and advising the board or government was what commissioners identified as their #1 action item or priority. And yet, at least 13 commissioners who responded didn't feel their voices were heard by their board. This next question is a crucial one to the DuPage County environmental movement. We asked the commissioners, when your commission is approached to advise the board, do you perceive that the status of the proposed projects are usually A, before the planning stage, no financial investment has been made, B, in the planning stage, small financial investment has been made, C, in the planning stage, large financial investment has been made, or D, past the planning stage, nearly full financial investment has been made. 38% of respondents noted that their commission is approached to advise the municipal board before the planning stage with no financial investment having been made, which is great. 18% responded that they are approached to advise the board during the planning stage, with the board having already made a small financial investment into a project. 22% noted that the board approaches the Environmental Commission during the planning stage with a large financial investment already made for a project. 15% identified that the board approaches their Environmental Commission to advise on a project once it's past the planning stage with nearly full financial investment having been made. And 7% of responses were under other, which noted that their Environmental Commission is not consulted to advise on projects at all. I should note that when I speak of investment, I mean financial investment of taxpayer money on behalf of the municipality. All right, we next asked whether environmental commissioners perceived their commission hurt the local economy, helped the local economy, or had some other effect on the local economy. We received no responses that an environmental commission was perceived to hurt the local economy, which was good for us. 32% respondents perceived their commission helped the local economy, and 3 respondents believed their commission had no effect on the local economy. Those answers make this next question really interesting. We asked if the commissioners were currently tracking the actual economic effect of their projects. 4 respondents noted they are tracking the local economic effect in some way. 30 noted that they were not tracking the local economic effect, and 3 respondents noted that they would like to track the economic effect of their commission, but that they didn't have the resources to at this time. So 32 respondents believe the Environmental Commission has a positive effect on the economy, but you can see from this, most of us don't have a way to prove that positive effect to the general community because almost no commission is keeping track of the money we may be saving taxpayers with our environmental initiatives. We next asked if the environmental commissions had a presence on their municipal website, since we learned that outreach on the internet is increasingly crucial. 10 respondents do have some presence. 2 noted they had presence, but they felt it was limited in some way. And 1 respondent was not sure if they had a space on their website. We expanded that question to social media in general, and 9 respondents believed their commission had social media. 14 respondents believed their comm did not have social media. 6 respondents weren't sure, and 2 respondents noted they just used their municipality's social media accounts to get their message out. 2 respondents mentioned that they would soon be getting social media, and 1 respondent noted they didn't believe their commission needed social media at all. So for those of you who are watching, the state of Illinois has a law that is called the Open Meetings Act, which states that local governments have a legal obligation to alert citizens of 48 hours in advance and to publish a written document that details what occurred at any given meeting, and that document is called the meeting minutes. Some environmental commissioners have to swear an oath to uphold the United States Constitution when they are appointed and go through certification training in the Open Meetings Act to ensure commissioners are aware that the entire public has a right to access of their government. It's a very important law that prevents corruption. When I was doing research for this symposium, I noted that some municipal websites don't have their commission meeting dates. And I'm not just talking about environmental commissions, by the way, just commissions in general. Nor do they have their meeting minutes on their website. So I wanted to determine if environmental commissioners were aware of this law as it pertains to technology. 50% of respondents noted they find it difficult to interpret the Open Meetings Act when it comes to technology. So I think that that's something that our representatives can help us out on clarifying a little bit more. There are a few last things I want to say before we break for our reception. 1, please fill out our audience member survey, which we will be posting on our website later today, and let us know how you liked the symposium this year and how you think we can improve the symposium for next year. And you can find the link to our survey on sustainedupage.com. The second thing is that I think our next step as a community should be to meet as a DuPage County Environmental Commission and Committee Coalition sometime in August. And if there is a viewer out there who is watching this who would like to spearhead the creation of an environmental commission in your municipality, but you don't know where to begin, please email us at sustainedupage@gmail.com. That's sustainedupage@gmail.com. Or if you'd like to get involved with our nonprofit in other ways, emailing us is the best way to get in contact with us, and you can find that on our website as well. Thank you to everyone who tuned in, everyone who is hosting a viewing party. Thank you to our Environmental Commission and committee members for putting together these presentations and dedicating your Saturday morning to DuPage County on top of all of the other amazing work you're doing. This has been such a fulfillment for me, and I think we should give ourselves a round of applause. Proud to be from DuPage.